I'm getting a little exercise in today at the same time. So welcome. A new journey to be started, a new promise to be fulfilled, a new page to be written. Go on forth unto this waiting world with pen in hand, all you young scribes, the open book awaits. Be creative, be adventurous, be original, and above all else, be young. For youth is your greatest weapon, your greatest tool. Use it wisely. Wonder Woman. A superhero is someone who has found or done something beyond the normal range of achievement of experience. A superhero is someone who has given his or her life to the service of others in some capacity, something larger than oneself. Throughout history, society has looked towards leaders, change makers, doers of good deeds, as well as our iconic superheroes, to teach us how to build a better world. Superheroes have played integral roles in ancient mythological teachings centered around themes that have supported human life and social change. Imbued with superpowers, they challenge the laws of space, time, and imagination and offer us a vision of a better world, a more changed world, a more unified world, one that we can identify with. And given the volatile state of the universe, it is no wonder or coincidence that superheroes continue to capture our imagination and attention in mainstream society. Why? Because they inspire in us the will to act. For centuries, we have told stories of epic grandeur in hopes to come to terms with the world and to bring a sense of harmony to our own lives. But over time and through the course of normal evolution, these superheroes have started to fade out of the consciousness of our time. The meaning behind them lost and thought only as mere entertainment or crazy peeps in spandex and a cape running amok around town. And we all know that nowadays that'll probably land you in the police department. So it's not always a good thing. So what do these stories of epic grandeur reveal to us? They reveal the common thread within all of us, our common human potential, and our search through the ages for our own truth, for the meaning and significance of life. This is the stuff of mythological greatness. Superheroes are the embodiment of these myths, and they allow us to understand and identify with those very same qualities. We believe in them because they demonstrate a dedication and unwavering balance towards facing fear and unjust acts. And they are relentless at the pursuit for truth and social justice. They must express themselves in a language of our modern time, which is innovation and technological advances. This is why I'm before you today. This is my hope for the future. I believe we need a call for action. We need to start telling stories. We need the reinvention of the modern-day superhero, who I believe are the Superhuman-itarians. These Superhuman-itarians are the new social crusaders sprung from the need of empowerment and the seed of a global changing landscape of interconnection and diversification. They explore the global boundaries and allow us to explore our own self-awareness as we make our way through life and discover our own truths, and offer us a glimpse of how we can dig deep and take the necessary steps to save our world in a very real way. Superhumanitarians transcend national, global, and ethnic identity to speak to a new generation. And as we know, that new generation is our kids, our youth, our students. Why? Because kids are the epitome of imagination and creativity. They are the cultivators and ideators of tomorrow, and they fluctuate at the highest caliber of energy. They are sponges of insurmountable depth. By a show of hands, who here has wanted to be a superhero? Tell the truth. Awesome. Sweet. Well, start thinking of your superhero name, because humanity needs you, and we're all accepting applications for greatness. Do you remember the first time you were inspired by a superhero? The first time the story came alive in you? I do. I was 6 years old, and the superhero's name was She-Ra, the Princess of Power. So if you were born like in 1979 or 80 like me, you remember it. Okay. So she was the defender of the Crystal Castle. He-Man's twin sister rode this amazingly powerful steed named Spirit, and she just oozed strength and valor. I was hooked. So over the course of the last decade, I have reinvented my life several times over, yet two foundational pillars have always remained, and that is running and philanthropy. And today that continues to be my passion. This amalgamation has given birth to my own superheroine, my own superhumanitarian, and her name is ASHA. The word ASHA stems from the Eastern words connected to truth, existence, and righteousness. And in Eastern Africa, in Swahili, ASHA means life. ASHA is the pioneer behind Run for a Cause. Run for a Cause is not an organization, nor is it a nonprofit or a charity. Run for a Cause is an idea. an idea that empowers youth and people of all ages to harness their own potential through the power of sport philanthropy. The idea is that anyone sitting in this room today has the power to generate goodness in the world. We all have the power to invest in our global community. I believe there is a superhero in all of us who keeps us honest, gives us strength, and makes us noble. Not everyone is meant to make a difference, but for me, the choice to leave an ordinary life is no longer an option. The story of my life is not for the faint of heart. Whatever life holds in store for me, I will never forget these words. With great power comes great responsibility. So who am I? I'm Spider-Man, quoted by Peter Parker, Spider-Man's alter ego. Run for a cause is a call to action, and it's my call to action. My action is to champion great organizations and their causes through my middle-of-the-pack running. And with a hope to raise $1 million before the age of 35, which you all heard. And over the course of the last 10 years, I've empowered others to help me reach this goal, and so far I've raised $800,000 for over 40 different organizations. Needless to say, I go through a lot of shoes. Much like Peter Parker, my ambition and courage outweighed my feelings of inferiority. There is tremendous power in fearlessness, the opportunity to authentically experience the world around you. As is with all duality life, this confident woman standing before you today wasn't always so. She was once scared, lacked self-confidence, and felt, for the most part, unnoticeable. At a distance, a nobody. At times, she struggled to find a voice. She is the survivor of gender-based violence, rape, and abuse. She has traveled to and lived in what some would call the far reaches of the earth and bared witness to the abomination and devastation of what civil war and conflict can do to people living in extreme poverty and corruption. She has felt the loss of loved ones, the loss of a mother from preventable and insurmountable tragedy. She was the last runner in her track class, and she was once placed in alternative classes for special learning. She also made the conscious decision to live on the downtown east side for 3 months in a small co-op with no bed, slept on the floor, just so that she could understand the reality of people in different parts of our community. And let me just say, I heart the downtown east side. This woman standing before you is a fighter, but fights from a place of compassion. No matter what our trials and tribulations may be, there is always hope and opportunity. My running was my hope, my opportunity. And with a little persistence and ambition, apparently I became quite good at it. ASHA brought forth the best qualities of my superhero self. She is bold, fearless, impenetrable, with an unwavering tenacity to embrace her vulnerabilities as well as her strengths, to seek out righteous, compassionate action. When I run for causes, I run for all those who may not have a choice, who may not have the freedom to have a voice. I run for those who are marginalized by stigma and exclusion, and I carry them with me. Superhuman-itarians understand that any narrative, including their own, require a balance of this duality, and it is in these lessons where we learn to navigate these shadowy regions for more constructive means. We remain focused and guided by the understanding of this great paradox. I'm getting a little tired up here, you know? Every superhero has to forge an identity that is powerful and purposeful. So I want you to ask yourself this. What are you most passionate about? And what makes you come alive? What is your authentic power to do and be good? That's what drives the Superhuman-itarian, to be the change. Today, I'm obviously walking on a treadmill, and I'm sure most of you are kind of asking why. My idea, Run for Cause, is only part of the equation. Today, I wanted to take you on a journey to showcase the power that we have right now in real time. And hypothetically, let's call it the superhero campaign. Run 1 mile in someone else's shoes. So here it is. The average Joe, or Joanne, be politically correct, runs a mile in about 12 minutes. And over the course of that 12 minutes, they take about 2,000 steps. So, for example, I run my 1 mile in about 8.5 minutes, and I take about 1,600 steps. So imagine if I were to run 1 mile in someone else's shoes, and I asked 10 of my buddies to pledge 1 cent per step. That's 1 cent per step. Their personal pledge would be $16. In short, we've just raised $160 for a valiant cause. Now, the question then becomes, what do we do with that $160 or even $16 for that matter? What if we invested that $160 locally? Fact, at least 80% of humanity lives on less than $10 a day. Fact, on the downtown east side, those on lower income budgets live on approximately $6 per day. Fact, A one-bedroom, low-cost housing unit on the downtown east side rents out for $570, yet the approximate amount that someone on a low-income budget receives, including shelter allowance, is $510. Therefore, we could fill that deficit. Now, what if we invested only one of those pledges, $16, in a developing country? Fact, $16 could purchase a school uniform for a child. Fact, did you know that sending a girl to school can reduce child mortality by 15%? And each additional year that she stays in school can increase her family's income as much as 20%. Fact, that $16 could qualify as a microloan and empower a group of women in a village to become entrepreneurs, which, as we know, gets repaid to the lender. Now, let's take that one step further. If I asked each of you, you 100 empowered TEDsters in the audience right now, to join me and join my superhero campaign and run 1 mile in someone else's shoes, that's 12 minutes. We have the potential of raising $1,600. Now, hold on to me a moment, because this is the BHAG, aka Big, Hairy, Audacious Goal. What if all of you asked 10 of your friends to pledge you 1 cent per step? Do you know the power behind that idea? That's 1,000 empowered people, 1,000 social crusaders. We could potentially raise $16,000. And how about we taking that one more step further and ask those 1,000 social crusaders to ask their friends? Between you, me, and your friends, that's only 3 degrees of what we call separation. I don't like that word. I like to call it 3 degrees of commonality. That potential is well over $160,000 in 12 minutes. That is the power behind one superhumanitarian. And it's really epically that simple. It's pretty cool, eh, when you actually do the math. So in closing, I'd like to leave you with a quote by Marianne Williamson, which Nelson Mandela recited at his inaugural speech in 1994. Our deepest fear is not that we are inadequate. Our deepest fear is that we are more powerful beyond measure. It is our light, not our darkness, that frightens us most. We ask ourselves, who am I to be brilliant and talented? Actually, who are you not to be? We are meant to shine as children do. And when we allow our own light to shine, we unconsciously give others permission to do the same. As we are liberated from our own fear, we automatically liberate others. Thank you.